Good evening. My name is Nikhila. I'm a dental student. My information about Islam is really less. Whatever I know is because of my friends. My question is, I've read this poster. They say that music and dance is not accepted in Islam. Why is that? I mean, you cannot say it's generally also you can listen to music or singing or dance or whatever. You cannot just say only for Bharatnatyam or for any form of dance you have music. In general music also we have when you praise God, when you show your emotions. Why is it said that music and dance is not allowed?
Sister asked the question that why is it in Islam that music and dance are prohibited? First I'll come to music, then I'll go to the dance. As far as music is concerned, our beloved Prophet Muhammad said that the musical instruments, as a general rule, they are prohibited, except he gave permission for the duff. That's the one-sided open drum, called as duff or duffli. Besides that, the Prophet prohibited because, if you analyze, it takes a person away from the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from the remembrance of Almighty God. That's the reason when we hear these, film songs, whether it be Hindi, it may be Malayali or Tamil or whatever it is, you find that in these film songs, most of the words that are mentioned, they are far away from reality. The hero tells the heroine, "Main tumhare liye chand tod ke leke aunga, main tumhare liye sitare tod ke leke aunga, I'll get the moon for you, I'll get the star for you." We know it's not possible. No man can get the star or the moon for his lover. But yet, we keep on repeating because of the ambience, because of everything. So because of this, general rule is that the music does take a person away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the reason a beloved Prophet prohibited musical instruments except for duff. Or, as generally, with your voice. For example, when a person recites the Quran. If he recites the Quran, his voice is good, that's permitted. Because that takes a person towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The musical instruments along in the background do create a different ambience. Otherwise, singing per se, it is mubah, optional, as long as the words of the song, they take you towards your Creator Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If the words of the song take you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even that type of song is prohibited. Now coming to the second part, why is dancing prohibited? There is no verse in the Quran, or no hadith that I know of, which says dancing per se is haram. But normally, because people dance to show to the other people, we have dance performance on the stage, where as you Bharatnatyam. Now you're doing Bharatnatyam on the stage and thousands are watching you. So normally in terms of the hijab reason, we wouldn't like to expose our ladies, our mothers, our sisters, our daughters on the stage and thousands of people looking at them. So any profession in which the body is used as a show, as to entertain the people, it is prohibited. That is the reason dancing in public or dancing in parties where we have opposite sex mixing, many a time the rules of dancing, they conflict with the rule of the Islamic Sharia. Normally when you have a dance, you have pairs, male and female, and most of these pairs, that the girlfriend, boyfriend, and you dance in front of other people. So because it breaks the system of Islamic hijab, that's the reason per se it is prohibited, because it goes against the system of hijab. So you have to realize that many a time when you dance in public, you go out for parties and you move around. Otherwise, with you and your wife, you can do what you want as long as it doesn't go against the Sharia. Alone in closed doors, husband and wife, what they want to do, as long as it doesn't go against the rules of the Quran and Sahih Hadith, there's no problem. But because most of the time dancing exploits the body, it includes singing, dancing, you go on the stage and other people are watching, so it breaks the rules of Sharia, of the hijab. And you can hear my video cassette, Women's Rights in Islam, Modernizing Outdated, which speaks in detail. Why do we Muslims protect, why do we love, why do we revere our women for? Because we love our women, that's the reason we protect them, and we don't want to exhibit them. That's the reason professions which involve singing in public, or dancing, or modeling, these professions are prohibited for a lady. Hope that answers the question.
there is a different, before asking the question, I wanted to clarify that Quran is an evidence for logic, but it doesn't need logic to say that Quran is right. Why I'm saying this, because I wanted to say that you might sometimes don't have the answer. Like when Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when he was asked what is the best land on earth, he said, La adri. And as many ulama said that La adri is a fatwa by itself. What if Dr. Zakir faced a question that he didn't find an answer? I never saw you not having the right answer, or you didn't face difficult answering, let's say. What if one day you didn't have the answer? Would you say La adri?
The first point to be noted is that never judge Islam by looking at Dr. Zakir. I always said my answer that if you want to judge Islam, look at the Quran and the Sahih Hadith. And the example I always give, that if you want to judge how good the latest Mercedes car, that is SEL 600 2017, how good is it? And if you put behind the steering wheel a person who doesn't know how to drive, and he has accident and he bangs up the car, who will you blame? The car or the driver? But naturally the driver.
Yes.
If you really want to know how good the car is, you have to look at the specification, at what are the safety measures, what is the pickup, what is the gear ratio, will it have an anti-braking lock system, and so on and so forth. And if you really want to test drive the car, put behind the steering wheel a person who is an expert in driving. Similarly, if you want to judge Islam, look at the Quran, the Sahih Hadith, and the best exemplary Muslim is Prophet Muhammad. As far as the question is concerned that what will happen if I don't know the answer.
Yes.
Point to be noted that if you know Ahmad bin Hanbal, may Allah have mercy on him, he was a great scholar, he was a great imam. When about more than 40 questions were asked to him, he did not reply to most of them, only 2. And he said, this is what. So what you have to realize, that if a person doesn't know the answer, that does not mean he's a scholar. The more you know, the more you realize you don't know. But you have to realize the difference between a faqih, or a person who gives fatwa, and a da'i. The difference is that a person who is asked a fatwa, he has to really give the answer in black and white. We as a da'i, when I give a lecture on Quran and modern science, for example, I study all the verses of the Quran dealing with science, I do my research, and I have a list of maybe 200 questions that can be asked on it. I'm prepared. I know my portion. So when about 20 questions are asked, 19 are already from my list. So that's the reason you see me giving references. I'm not Hafiz al-Quran. I do my homework. There are questions which are asked the first time in my life. For example, the question on Iqra.
Yes.
And I didn't know the answer, but Allah helped me. So many.
If not, let's say if you didn't have the
Yes, I'll come to it.
Good.
I'll come to it. So number one is I do my homework.
You don't like interrupting.
No problem.
This is what you do when people ask you. But now I'm not in another debate.
No.
I can ask whenever I want.
Sure, you're most welcome. Yeah, you're most welcome. I'll come to it. The thing is that because my homework is done, normally because I've seen most of the most common questions that can come from the Quran, Hadith. If I'm giving a talk on women's rights in Islam, I do research on women, all the verses I try and do my homework. Yet there have to be questions which are not known. Out of those questions which are not known, Alhamdulillah, most of the time Allah helps. There are certain questions that I've answered maybe 100 times, and no one has counter-questioned. And somebody counter-questions it and I'm stuck. I'll give you one more example. Always give the famous answer if you know the answer. Of course, you'll be knowing about the hijab. The two twin sisters are equally beautiful. One is wearing the Islamic hijab, the other the Western clothes, and they're walking down the streets. Who will a hooligan tease? A person wearing short skirt or a low neck? The answer is but natural person wearing the Western clothes. Now, one lady in Dubai said, the man will tease the one wearing the hijab. And I said, why? Because you would like to see what is inside behind. And my daughter in the audience said, Khalas, now Abba is stuck. And no one. So there's one logic that is there. Many a times you agree with your opponent and use their force to put them down. It's one of the logics of taekwondo, karate, martial arts. So I told sister, I don't agree with you, But if I agree with your argument that the person would teach the girl wearing clothes because you like to know what's behind the clothes, then why are you wearing clothes? Why don't you take out your clothes? And she was shocked. I said, actually, you're only saying something which you don't believe in. If you believed in that, then why are you wearing clothes? You should walk without clothes. So sometimes we have to use mantiq and logic. Now coming to your question that, what if Dr. Zakir Naik doesn't know? As I told you, as a da'i, because with the homework we know most of it, many times Allah helps. And many a times we try, even though many a times I may know that the answer is not 100%, I try and give a close answer. But that happens rarely, rarely. Close answer so that the people on the opposite side, that I'm da'i, I'm not giving a fatwa on Islam. But surely if it's something which is not related, for example, if they ask me something about engineering, or if they ask me a question which is not related to my field. So I say that you call a heart specialist and you're asking him a question on common cold. So when sometimes people ask me questions which are unrelated, so I make it a point to tell them that I am specialized in Islam and comparative religion. Don't ask me questions outside the field. And sometimes they may ask me questions in the field. At that time, because being a da'i, I try and give a logical reply, because many a times a non-Muslim, he doesn't understand the concept of Islam.
Yes.
That it is not that we know everything.
But let me interrupt you and ask you this question. Muhammad ﷺ is a da'iya too.
Of course.
And he's
no, he's a messenger of Allah.
And
the messenger of Allah.
Yes, you're right.
There's a world of a difference being a da'i and a messenger and the normal da'i.
صحيح. لكن he also replied with لا أدري.
Of course.
So
100%.
I want to hear that. So do you think that it's okay to say لا أدري when it's a question?
If you don't know at all, best to say. When I train my students, I tell them, if you don't know the answer, better say I don't know rather than put your foot in the mouth.
Right.
That is the reason I tell that if a question is there which is not in my field, I say this is not my field at all.